Hello, I'm Mr. J. You can call me Ray.
So what's up, everybody? I'm super stoked because I just got done all my classes and it's a week before Christmas, and as you can clearly see, we are not going to be fishing anytime soon. But being as things are slowing down, I was thinking that it would be a perfect time to go and check out my fishing gear, and because I have time now, so one day it's going to be 45 degrees or something like that, we're going to have an opportunity to get out. I also want to show you how I do my catfish rigs, which are basically just really cheap. I guess they call them, like, I don't know if they call it a Carolina rig or something like that, but you can buy them and they're like $4 or $5 a piece. And I'm going to show you how I make mine for pennies. So that's what we're going to do. So I'll see you in the Walmart. Christmas time in Walmart. So they don't have any of the small ones, which is typical. And the problem with Walmart, they never restock, which is why you have to order jars, which is what we're gonna do. It's not gonna stop us. Doing what we can. We're not going to be doing any ultralight fishing for a few weeks anyway, so I think what we'll do is just get our rods ready. That's pretty much all we can do right now anyway. Now, I already have all this stuff at home, but I'll show you. If you want to make these little catfish rigs that I'm making, this is what people buy. You can see they're $2 for two of them, and I guarantee if you throw this into like the Delaware River, you're gonna get about 2 casts before you lose both of them. So what I do is I get some of these guys, about 1 ounce sinkers. You can even use ½ ounces just fine, and you get more for your buck. Any weight's fine. And then you just need some very small split shot like this. And now these are your circle hooks that you might use for catfish, but we're not going to do that, because with your 1-2 pound catfish, you're better off with the standard, just a standard shank hook. And I find that they don't get caught too much. And I'll show you how we're going to make that work in just a minute. Another thing. So for the catfish rigs, I'm going to show you, you're using something heavier, something bigger. But when I'm doing all this creek fishing, I'm looking for the smallest thing they got. So this little spinner is good. This little one's good. You take this line right off that it comes with. Just get rid of it. And then you put on like, not that this line's too heavy. It just stinks. Put on even cheap line that you buy is better. So, but you want trout line like 2 pound. This is nice, 4 pound. With that 64 ounce. And you just have to think about it logically. If you have very light gear, the fish don't see anything except the bait. All they see is a little fish swimming. But kids are, and guys, you put your hooks, these giant hooks in with these big pieces of split shot, and then you've got 15-pound test on there. They're smart. They know. See, like 4 pound here is as heavy as you're doing for the bass fishing I'm doing. 4 pounds. It's heavy. Anything heavier than that, it's no good. And you can catch a 10-pound fish on 4-pound line.
Shopping is finally a thing of the past. You now have one of Santa's helpers inside the Walmart app.
Also have like green color, so it looks like the creek. Just little stuff like that makes a big difference.
Review and shop for all of your holiday needs. Sparky can do it all.
Technique is some of it, but I think 80% of it's the right gear.
Sparky, Santa's.
And while we're talking equipment, I want to show you something. These are good little jig head stuff like this, these finesse rigs, these finesse jigs. But these are still too heavy, 132 ounce. They're just too heavy for creek fishing around here that I find. So what you'll find is in the Walmart, there's literally nothing you can use to be an effective fisherman. This is nothing. Everything's too heavy. Here's and you'll know because all the good stuff is gone. Here's where the 64th ounce are. And if you come down here, just try to find something. You got this little kit. Look at this, micro finesse jig, 1/16 ounce. Look how big these jig heads are. They're huge. I'm using a 64th ounce typically. And those you're gonna have to order. Now you can find them here, but I already bought them all. And people that know what they're doing have bought them all. 16th ounce is the lightest you're gonna find when you come in. And they're just too heavy. You really need, like these are 16th ounce, and these here, what they're calling a finesse, are half the weight, and they're still way too heavy. These are good, with a bigger, like if you want to switch to something much bigger, like a 2.5 inch. But if you're using these little guys and you're trying to go for, trying to get your biggest bang for your buck and trying to catch as many fish as you can, I think 64th ounce is the way to go.
Okay. Hey, everybody. All right, so what I want to do here is to kind of show you what I do when, we're not fishing right now. It's 20 degrees out. This is a good time to kind of go through my gear, see what I have, see what I want to get rid of. So I have this like junk bag that as you're fishing, you're accumulating like junk. It's just stuff you've had for years, stuff you don't want to throw away, but you don't need. But, good stuff gets thrown in there throughout the year. Pliers, save that. Licorice. Get rid of that. A whole thing of twine that I haven't even opened yet, 15-pound line for the shore. Save that. Get rid of that. thing of little split shot. We'll need that. Get rid of that. So then I've got like, you know, the stuff that I love, my weights. And I got all my hooks that I haven't used yet. I haven't opened the lines that we haven't used. And then I kind of take all the bait. So I have like a little bit of gulp minnows left. I have these worms left, ultralight. I'm not gonna be using them right now. I have some bigger gulp. So what I do is I open up the little stuff and I dump some of this goosey juice in there into the little bottles to re-soak them. And then I've got like, you know, little containers that I carry with me, just making sure, like the ones that have good stuff in it, that I recompile all of it together. Hooks that I barely ever use, but again, this time of year, I'm looking for this kind of stuff. So I pull all this kind of stuff out and just, you know, reassess my gear so I know what I need and what I have, and to be as well prepared as I can be with what I currently have. So you'll remember in the summer we tried to go fishing down the shore, and I had these rods set up with these big jiggy jigs. I don't know if you remember how that went. Didn't go too good. So what I'm gonna do right now, so we're gonna convert these over to catfishing rigs. And I'm gonna show you how we do that. So the first step is gonna be to remove this guy. I don't recommend using your teeth. Okay. Now I showed you those catfishing rigs at Walmart, and I'm going to show you how you make a cheap version of that. I'm going to do it real quick so you don't get bored. And it's the easiest thing. Ready? Pull out your line so you have quite a bit. Now you're going to get your end. Here's your end. Okay. Now, all you need to start this is one. I'm gonna put on like, do a 1 ounce weight so we can really hoist it out there. What you're gonna do is, before you do anything, you're gonna take your weight and put it on. Just slide it on the line, let it fall. Now, you're gonna pick a hook. And like I said, when I'm fishing for these little catfish, I don't go for these giant hooks. They just don't work. And people will say, oh yeah, but you shouldn't catfish with, because it'll gut hook them. Honestly, I find that, I don't know, that happens random times no matter what hook I use. No matter what I use, but I definitely get more hooks. You know, when I'm using just a regular shank. So every single one of these hooks has been used, and oh, this one's good. Okay, so here I found one. This is a nice one. It doesn't have those hooks here, but it does have one hook here. So it's not super hooky, you know, where it's gonna get caught sideways and stuff, but it's a nice big hook, but it's still got a barb in there. I don't know, the way that this rig goes, I feel this, I'll show you how it works. So the idea with this is it kind of sets itself. So now you're gonna take your hook, And if I probably never shown you this stuff before. If you know, if you're a fisherman, this is common knowledge. But so you take your hook, okay, and it's just sitting there. And now you're gonna make 2 loops. You're gonna make a loop over here on one side of the hook where your end is. So I got a loop. See that? And now I'm gonna make another loop on the same side. It's the same type of thing. So I got 2 loops. See that? 2 loops. And now I'm gonna put my loops together. So I have 2 loops together, and then I pinch it at the top. Now I got the 2 loops together and this end. Now I take the end and put it through through all the hoops. 2, 3. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Now you pull it. Now you pull the hook. And then once you do that, you pull it all down, and you've got you cut this long end off. And this knot, called a cinch knot, that will never, the line will break before that knot will. Okay. So you'll never have the disastrous, you know, all of us have had a situation where we tie a poor knot and you see the hook just slid off. That will never be the case if you tie this knot. You know, you'll have a broken end, but you'll never see just a slid off hook end. It'll never happen to you. So it'll be, you know, the kind of thing where there's nothing you could have done about it, you know. Okay, so now you have a hook and you have a weight. Just have a hook and a weight. So what I want to do now is I'm going to pick a spot on this line. I like to go about a foot, 14 inches, maybe 15 inches, maybe a foot and a quarter up, about here. And now I'm going to tie just one little loop, put the hook through, and now I got this, just one little loop. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this split shot that I found earlier. Just need one little piece. Just one little piece. Okay. Now I gotta refine my loop. Oh, Pete. Never get lucky with this stuff. Never. All right. All right. So now we have our loop. I should have got my split shot out ahead of time. No matter how many times I do this, I never do that. So I got my split shot open. Stick it in the loop and then tighten the loop through the split shot. So when you pinch the split shot, it won't move. So I've now tightened that loop around the split shot. Now I'm gonna pinch it shut. Don't use your mouth because it's not good for your teeth, and I think this is probably poison. Okay. Now what you have is this rig that I'm talking about, which is, let me move back and show you, which you have a hook, and then you have a weight here, but it slides and stops. And the idea here is when this is laying on the bottom and the catfish finds your chicken liver or whatever, he's going to take it and run away with it, start going away. And at some point, this is going to snag. And you got him. And you'll see the rod go boink. And you're like, I got something, I bet. And sometimes that's it. you know, they'll be lazy or stop moving. Catfish are weird. They're not like other fish. But sometimes you'll see like a real pool, and that's a good sign. A lot of times you just, and so it's different. Like for bass fishing, it's very active. We're putting it in there. We're trying to manipulate the bait to look live. But for this type of fishing, you're throwing it in and letting it sit. And then you're just waiting for somebody to come and suck it up. And when they do, they take it. Sometimes they don't even know this is in there until it's boing. Now it's already in. So that's a cool little, there's a cool little rig for you for catfishing. Like I said, this is a much heavier, I think I have 10-pound line on this right now. You don't need anything near that heavy. This is a medium action, you know, a 1-pound catfish on this, you know, it's not exciting, but you know, you might catch a 6 or 7-pound catfish, which if you're in John Hines or if you're on the Delaware River, that's a very real possibility. Actually, it's more likely that you'll catch a big one. Nice one. So let's move to the ultralight. Hi. Okay, so this is my ultralight reel. It's that one that I showed you in Walmart. It's like 25 bucks. They're great. I know they're always there. The nice thing about Walmart is if you find something you like, you can pretty much find it, you know, as long as they stock it. I think the problem with a lot of the stuff is it disappears, and a lot of this stuff is on like auto order, min-max type stuff, and you know, it just doesn't get reordered because it didn't get sold. Very irritating, but thank God for the internet. And anyway, I don't know if I explained to you the way the pricing breaks down with these with the ultralight stuff. You're always better off online for 2 reasons: availability and pricing. So like this 64-ounce jig that I'm going to put on here right now, I showed you today, they're not available. There was no option. So there's nowhere in Delaware County that I know of that you could buy the jig that you would need for ultralight fishing right now. And that's, my experience is that that's typical. Even when you go to the Cabela's, I went to the, or not Cabela's, where do we go? Dick's. They have nothing that you can use. Nothing. It's like they don't even understand what it is that you would buy. It's almost like the store is kind of like a front for their best stuff. But if you really want a selection, you have to go online. And you know, so they don't get into the little baits, and they're all selling these, you know, giant whopper ploppers and all this other stuff that you just don't need. So you know, I go online and buy, you know, Berkeley and Trout Magnet and stuff like that, and the little, you know, spoons and stuff like that. I'll buy them online, and I'll buy my jig heads online. So the jig heads I'll buy, you know, again, the 64th ounce aren't available, and if you buy them in the store, you're getting like a 5-pack for $5. If you buy them online, you could find a deal of, you know, 50 for $20. So you know, it's literally 25% off. I mean, 25% of the price. And the same for the minnows. If you buy them in the pack in Walmart, you're getting 10 of them for $5. Where if you buy a jar, it's $7 or $8 for 30. You know, it's just, you know, I buy them in a pinch at Walmart if I have to, if I want to shoot a video and I'm literally out and I'm waiting on an order. But like, other than that, there's no reason. And if you're counting on them to be there, forget about it. They never will be if you're counting on it. It's, you know, I buy them almost because like I can't believe, it's like if you see your favorite thing in the store, you just grab it. All right, so here's my ultralight. I got 4-pound on this. I have a 64-ounce jig. They're made by a company called, what's the name of that company? Mustad. Mustad. It's like mustard without the R. Mustad. Mustad. Okay. Now you got to mess with the weights on this stuff. So these are good 80% of the time. Now, if the conditions are right and you're getting hit on big baits in the beginning of the year, these are too light. You want something heavier so you're going to get action on a bigger bait. But if conditions suck and you're just trying to catch anything you can, you got to start small. So same exact knot as we had for the other hook. And this one, best thing about jig heads, the best thing about this fishing is there is no, I get out of my car, I see a body of water, I get out of my car and I have a fish in my hand a minute and a half later. There's no cutting or stinky baits or bobbers or all this nonsense. It's just, I have the reel set up and you've got, like I'll have like a little plastic thing full of jig heads and I got like a little jar in my car with a little baggie next to it. And I'll just like 3 in there, grab my jig heads, grab my rod, and I'm fishing anywhere in the world. I can do this, just pulling over, which is where this kind of fishing is most fun. Like I get so excited when I see the videos of people traveling around the country because I'm like, I can't believe this guy doesn't have a rod with him right now, because there's just all this opportunity and people just don't think about doing it. They're just sightseeing. I think people would enjoy it so much if they realize how simple it is. Okay. And they don't hurt, they don't bite, they're not stinky. Fish are very clean, and it's not like you think, like, oh, yeah, nasty fish. They're very clean. And all right, so I got my hook. Loop-de-loop. Loop-de-loop. And if you're somebody like me who's got limited, like I want to travel the world, but I don't want to be limited. 1, 2, 3. I don't want to be limited by money. And if fishing is your focus, you're not limited by money anymore. You know, if you're a fisherman or if you're a golfer or a skier, or you're going to run into money issues at some point, you know. It's not the case if you like fish. They're free and they're everywhere. Okay. And you know, I'll catch, like some days you lose a lot of bait, you're just getting unlucky. But there are days where I'll catch 10 bass on one 25-cent rubber minnow. Okay. Once I put him on, once I put that on, you're done. That's it. Put the jig head on, and I see something I like. I grab my minnows, and we're ready to go. So I can't wait for the season to start. I start classes again March, I think 13th, which is exactly when bass season starts, trout season starts. It's a good thing for me to be able to do both at the same time. I'll get rolling with classes and I'll use, you know, the videos as a reward, because I really do enjoy this. This is fun for me. And I was just so wanting to put a video out, and there's just no opportunity to fish. So I figured this is a good opportunity to show you what is good habits. Now I have my rod set. I have my stuff reorganized from the summer. So if we do get a 50-degree day, which is bound to happen, I can be in my car, you know, and I keep my GoPro. I check it once a week because they always drain, no matter what, they drain. So, you know, once a week I'll check that, just make sure I got battery. And, you know, and then when I check the weather, I see something's coming up and an opportunity opens up, you're ready to go. And like with this kind of fishing, really in the springtime, you don't even need to be ready to go. You just keep it with you all the time. second you got 10, you know, you see me all the time say, I got 10 minutes, I have an hour, you know, and that's the way this fishing is. It doesn't take some big commitment. So love you guys, and thanks for watching, and see you next time. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. Wait, this is my cat, Annabelle. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi to the studio audience. That's my cat. Yep. Okay. Sorry. Bye.